Coaching expectations versus reality. It's going to bring us over here. We're going to start with this little red row first, right? And this graph here has a y-axis and an x-axis. Actually, all of them do. The y-axis is going to have result. At the top of it is going to be the goal over time, which is the x-axis. And then, as that pattern charts to the right and up, they get closer to the end result, right? And this specific graph says what you think will happen to your clients without your help. This one says what actually happens to your clients without your help. And this one is just a representation of both, right? So this one here, you're thinking that maybe your clients don't need you. Like, why would they need a coach? They have AI, they have other coaches available. Why would they need you specifically? Well, because first of all, if they work with themselves, right? You think what's going to happen is this, right? They're going to have like a straight line, start from ground zero, and over time they're going to get to the end result by themselves. But the whole point of a coach is to train them, to be with them, to do a service, a done with you service. Because in reality, most people's journey is not going to be a straight line like this. It's going to be something like this, right? This person starts, they get some motivation, they start to see results, and then something happens here. And then they just kind of go all the way back down, a little bit above where they started in the first place. Your job as a coach is to help them throughout this entire process. They cannot do it themselves. They cannot achieve the end result without your help. And your reasoning for being here is not to provide them with knowledge they don't already know, but with help they don't know that they need, right? Or even that they do know that they need. They just need help to get to that end result. Your job is to help them provide transformation. And again, this is just a representation of both scenarios here, which brings us down to this second row here. And we'll go one at a time for this one. This is what happens to your clients without your help. And again, in reality, it kind of looks something like this. What happens to your clients with your help? This is kind of like a zoomed out bird's eye view of what would happen, right? So it's basically just the opposite, right? Your expectations versus reality, right? Expectations are these two. Reality is kind of like these two, to be honest with you. And this is going to bring us over to a much more in-depth chart of your journey to help a client being a coach, which looks something like this, right? This is a mock client journey with your help, right? Again, same thing, goal at the top, result on the y-axis, time on the x-axis, and we're going to start at ground zero here, right? So the client starts here, they gain some progress, and then you're going to add some new variables into the equation to increase the difficulty or increase the growth involved in this journey, right? And what happens is because of all of these new variables that you introduced, they're going to plateau a little bit, right? I forgot to mention you also have the the DWI support, over here too. And this should be kind of like all the way down here, to be honest with you. There we go. Okay. And then again, they're going to plateau when you add more variables and you try to increase their growth. And what's going to happen again is they're going to plateau. So your job is to fix these mistakes so they can sustain and increase their progress once more. But what's going to happen is once they fix these mistakes, they're probably going to have some unsustainable progress going on, right? They might shoot up in success. They might succeed ecstatically. That's not probably the right word, but they're going to succeed enormously and they're going to just do very well, essentially, at one particular thing that you teach them. And throughout this process, they're probably going to have some unsustainable growth, right? And then they're going to hit this point and they're kind of going to lose discipline and maybe burn out a little bit, right? So your job is to reach out and establish a sustainable growth plan, right? You don't want them to constantly just have this whole cycle of unsustainable progress, burn out, lose discipline, come back all the way to almost ground zero, and kind of just keep this whole cycle going, right? What you want is enough growth to keep going, but not burn out and to not lose discipline, right? Something more sustainable. So again, reach out, establish sustainable growth plan. And then with this, they're going to actually have that sustainable growth and they're going to achieve the end goal a lot faster. And you're going to help them achieve the end goal a lot faster than had they not had your help and had you not stepped in and done something for them, right? I'm going to explain this a little bit more in some key points over here. Some key takeaways. Number one, coaches are needed, right? They are needed for their support. They are needed for their done with you help. They are not needed for all the answers, as I was saying a couple minutes ago, and they are not needed for unknown information, right? A client doesn't work with you to know everything. There's AI now. There's Google, obviously. Everyone has a phone. They can look up anything they need to. Why would they need your specific answers to tell them information that they can find literally anywhere else, right? It makes no sense. Your job is your done with you support, help, and service to this person to help them provide a transformation that they cannot do on their own. Now, if giving answers that they didn't know is part of it, amazing, but that's not your full job, right? And no one's going to not work with you because they're not going to want an end result. Coaches will always be needed to help achieve an end result because you have achieved it, or you're at least a couple steps ahead of your client. So they want to work with you to become at the level at least that you've achieved, right? Number two, the client journey is simply not linear. More often than not, clients will quit without your aid, which brings us back over to this scenario here, right? What happens to your clients without your help, right? Goal is here, time is here, result is here, and the end result is over here. And you think that it's going to just be like this straight vertical line, but in reality, it's something like this. They're going to come up here, they're going to probably plateau, and they're going to go all the way back down almost to ground zero without your help because they just couldn't sustain the progress. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't push themselves. They didn't have the motivation or the discipline or the plans established. They need your help. They need your aid, right? Clients will have breakthroughs and downfalls with your help. Don't be discouraged if they are discouraged, right? If they're over here and they kind of burn out, they lose discipline, they're discouraged, don't quit on this client. Obviously, you're not going to, but a lot of coaches kind of get discouraged that their service wasn't a perfect service for this client, that they didn't achieve 100% results in said time frame working with them, and that they had some ups and downs, right? It's highly dependent on the client. A lot of it is not on you, right? This client has their own life factors, their own lifestyle, their own mindset, their own factors that they're dealing with, right? You can't expect them to have this linear, perfect growth journey without any discouragements or down moments working with you. It's just not possible. You can't do that. So don't get discouraged if your client gets discouraged. Help them throughout this process and get them back on a good, sustainable track. Number three, faith is necessary. Clients must trust in the process to see success. I've had this issue myself, both being a coach, being a student, being a growth consultant for coaching businesses like I'm doing right now. You must trust in the process. If you don't trust in the process, there's no way you're going to exceed what you had in mind, right? If you had some set goal in mind, let's just say I wanted to lose 5 pounds, right? If you didn't believe that you were actually going to lose 5 pounds, you're not going to lose 5 pounds. But if you truly believe that you can lose 5 pounds in said time frame, 2 weeks or something, right? Maybe you have a competition to go to, whatever it is, right? If you truly believe you can lose that weight, you will do everything you possibly can to lose that weight because that's what you want to achieve. That's what you are obsessed with, right? If you don't believe in the process, if you don't trust in the process, it's just not going to happen. So you have to understand that your clients must trust in the process to see success. If they don't trust in you, if they don't trust what you're doing, A, they just might not be a good, valid client, or B, it's your job to help them break down these limiting beliefs. Preferably the latter, because coaching is still part of, again, there's ups and downs in the journey, right? You must do whatever you can to help the client succeed. It's like my job, right? I do whatever I can to help my coaching clients succeed, right? I don't just do copywriting. I don't just do breaking limiting beliefs. I don't just do email marketing or ads or content or scripting or price planning or market positioning, like all of these stuff. I do all of it together. Whatever will help my client scale, that's what I'm going to do. It's the same thing with you. If the client does not trust in the process, even if it's not necessarily in your job description, it is your job, if you want to help them achieve the end result, to be transformed working with you, to help them see and to trust in the process and in what you're doing for them, right? And that you must trust that with your help over time, the client will see success. If you're a new coach, this is something I hear pretty often, that a lot of coaches get discouraged because they don't have the experience. But in reality, what you have is time. You don't have a lot of clients to work with, right? So your bonus, your pros are that you have ample time and ample resources to help this client of yours achieve the transformation that they want to achieve, right? And you must trust that with the plans you've provided to them, because it's what you've gone through. Your personal experience has been your own coaching mentorship, right? And you are using your personal experience and your expertise to share with this person what has helped you, right? And you must trust that what worked for you and what works for the majority of people is going to work for this person as well, right? Just make sure that they are disciplined, they're not getting burnt out, and they are believing in themselves, believing in you, believing in God, believing in the process. And lastly, again, that brings us to the last part here. You must trust in God. His timing is perfect, and He will guide you to make the right decisions. I don't want to get too into this here because I want this to be kind of like a short, valuable video, but there was a lot of times I can recall pretty recently, earlier this year, when I really just wanted to give up and quit. And I didn't. There was this spiritual force that just would not let me quit whatsoever. I kind of wanted to be honest with you, but I didn't. I was going through so much adversity and struggle and trials, and I had no triumphs throughout those trials. But I just kept going because it was all I was thinking about. It was all I was obsessed with. And as I got closer to the end result that I wanted to achieve, as I got closer to a better version of me, as I got deeper into my work, I got closer to God, because I understood that He made all of this possible. He's testing me to see if I'm the right man for the reward He's going to give me after I go through these trials. He's going to see if I am worthy of the triumphs He's going to give me for overcoming these trials. So understand that your timing is not perfect. Your goals may not have a set time. So just keep working, keep focusing on the inputs, keep bringing it back all to where it started, right? Because when you focus on the inputs, when you focus on the foundations of where it all began, the outputs will come, the success will come, the client results will come, the money will come. Whatever you want will happen. It will come. Bring it back to God, bring it back to where it started, and believe in what you're doing, believe in God, believe in where it all started, and do the inputs. The outputs will come. I hope this helped you. Again, this is a pretty short, not super in-depth video, but I kind of just want to make something to break the limiting beliefs I see a lot of coaches have, because again, a lot of them just think that they don't need, that their coaching isn't necessary, that it's going to get overtaken by AI, or people are just going to, lose weight with GLP-1 by themselves, or people are just going to buy some online free course and learn a business skill or something. That's not the case. People still need done with you services. And coaching is one of the fastest growing industries in the world right now. I believe it's over $300 billion right now. So your time, your service is valuable. Okay? It's always going to be needed. Don't think that it's not, because it is. People need help. People need transformation. And you are that guide to help transformation. You are not the hero, but you are the guide. The client is the hero. Make them the hero. Be the guide for this person to help them achieve the end result, right? Be the Yoda for the Luke Skywalker to help destroy the Death Star and defeat the Empire. Right? That's who you need to be. Again, I hope this video helped you. I'm going to be posting about once a week, maybe twice a week. So subscribe, like if you enjoyed this as well. I'm going to include one of my links in the description to work with me if you choose to, if you're qualified. And I'll see you in the next one, and I'm praying for your success.